Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by Icom. For more information, visit IcomAmerica.com/HamNation. And by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully, so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/HamNation.
This is Ham Nation, episode 339 for Wednesday, February 21st. The boys are back in town from Bouvet, among other things.
Hello, everybody. It's K9EID, and I'm not in my usual place, but I am in my usual place. We're in the conference room of Heil Sound in Fairview Heights. If I go to the front door and look west, I'll see the arch. So we're about 12 miles down the pike. But we're doing a lot of things these days here, so I thought we'll just come in here and do something different. Next week, I think I'll set up over where we've got some of the old gear from 1974. That ought to be fun. But we got a lot of things tonight, really good stuff. So just get a Dr. Pepper or whatever beverage and enjoy, because there's some really good stuff coming. We got some really neat things from North Carolina. They're going to talk to us about the up-and-coming contest for that great thing that's happening down there this weekend. We'll hear about that. And we have Valerie with her favorite guy, Jerry, and they're going to tell us firsthand about Bouvet. That's going to be really fun. And we've got all of our other regulars. Amanda's got her pencil in hand, so figure out what you want to ask all of us and tell her. She'll pass it on. Speaking of passing on, let's see what's happening out on the West Coast. Gordo, how you doing? You okay?
We're fine. Everything is good, and I can't wait to tell you about all of the local smaller HamFests. Great ones, so.
Good stuff, right? Yeah. George, how you been? Well, I don't have to ask you. You've got so many Icoms and all the new stuff. You probably haven't done anything. Have you had time to eat, George?
I did. I managed to find time to eat. You know, Ray came here to shoot some video this past week. Unfortunately, he got the flu, but I did manage to wrestle these 3 radios from him in his weakened state there. And we shot some video anyway. Tommy and I took these and wiped them down good with the Santa wipes. And we did some video this past weekend. That's still being edited right now. It should be out any day now, and we're going to have all about this IC 7610 right here. But I've also got the 7600 below, like Don has, and I got the 7300 above here. So we'll be back a little later in the show. I've got some nice prizes to give away tonight, and we've got another video from Randy and Quartzfest.
Oh, great, great. You going to have some of this up on Amateur Logic, or will that come up here?
You know, the long form video will probably end up being on Icom's YouTube channel, but I will have some stuff here. I haven't shot it yet, but I am going to shoot some stuff with it before I have to get rid of these in just a few days.
Yeah, of course. Well, you need to share some of that with the guy down south of you, Don Wilbanks. How are you doing? You okay? I know you had to give the radio up. What can I tell you?
Yeah, you might want to do a little Santa wipe on that 7610. I may have I may have drooled a little bit on it while it was here for just a brief and glorious moment. I didn't get to play with it much, but pretty amazing. We're going to have a brief solar update from Dr. Scove. This is the sum total of the solar update. She's been so busy that she just sent me a Twitter message and says, here, tell them this. I don't have time to do a video or any images or anything else, so I'll share this with you in a little bit after we after we get finished with Amateur Radio Newsline. I want to tell you that WTWW is back on 5085 tonight. So we welcome them back. It's good to be back on the big blowtorch over there in Nashville, or near Nashville. And speaking of, as Gordon said, some of the smaller HamFests, coming up in a couple of weeks, Friday and Saturday, March 9th and 10th, is the 58th annual Acadiana HamFest. That is in Rayne, Louisiana, over near Lafayette. That is in Cajun country. If you're a fan of the Swamp People TV show, that's right in the middle of that area. Right dead in the middle of it. And in fact, on Friday night, they have a cool little party called a Cajun Fée Dodo. And Fée Dodo is Cajun French for basically telling your babies to go to sleep so that the adults can go party. And seriously, it's called a Fée Dodo, and they'll have some Cajun music, actual Cajun music, and a crawfish boil. Have not made the Friday night version of the Rayne HamFest yet, but it's one of my favorite HamFests. So if you're down in South Louisiana coming up in a couple of weeks, March 9th and 10th, it's also the ARRL Louisiana State Convention, so go check that out. Whiskey 5 delta-lima.org is the website. I want you to go check it out. They're good people down there, and they have it's a great HamFest and voted the best food of any HamFest. I don't know who voted, but I'll vote for that because they do. They have excellent food, Bob. It's good stuff. Okay. So back to you. We got a big show tonight, so let's get on with it.
Yeah, it's great. Well, let's just keep moving out west and see what Gordo's got. I know he's got some things to talk about. So, Gordon, the microphone is all yours.
Well, thank you, Bob. And we just got the report that the Orlando HamFest, 20,000 plus. Wow. Dayton, the Amateur Radio Hamvention, with a trademark after Hamvention, 24,000 plus. And boy, they're getting ready. Talking to Michael Coulter, he said, have no fears. Rain or shine, we've got it made. No one's going to get wet feet, and they are doing it up big. But you know, these little teeny HamFests, they're fun. So, Victor, if we may, let's jump right in the short shots and check out what's happening in the Yuma, Arizona area. Now, the Yuma, Arizona HamFest, usually a standalone HamFest, was combined with the Southwestern Division ARRL HamFest here in Southern California, usually. And it's a smaller convention, but let me tell you, it's an RVer's delight because they contract with a Yuma County Fairgrounds, and they have paved parking, as you can see, for the RVers, 110 volts, plenty of AC. The weather was not that hot, so you didn't need AC as an air conditioning, but everybody had, of course, AC power to their rigs. You see the swap meet area, and they're already setting up even the day before. And, of course, we had flyovers from every military jet you can think of because we're right next to the Yuma Proving Grounds and where they fly out of. So acres and acres of parking for RVs. They were wonderful. They had, as a small HamFest, a couple of folks in motorized vehicles that would drive each RV around to find their own happy spot. And some of them were quite notable. The No Name Radio Club. I haven't figured that one out yet. And look at this. This is when we saw it. Quartzfest came down to Yuma. Talk about a compact little trailer, a little teardrop. It was well outfit, and it had a great signal. Now, this is Aho. Aho is a distinctive young man in U7 Delta Echo in that he plays radio, he plays RV, he's on the internet, and once you go inside this bizarre-looking bus, you will find it's literally a museum. And Aho, thanks for all you do for allowing those hams to come on in and take a look. He's soft-spoken, but boy, he sure brings ham radio to the forefront with his great bus, the Cat Dragged In. Well, Yuma had a near space balloon launch, and the crowd here is cheering that they could see the balloon go up and out of sight. And you can see there was swap meets everywhere. Luckily, everything was on grass except for a little bit of cement. Deals, let me tell you, they had a country store inside the exhibit area where hams would drop off different pieces of equipment. Look at this. Yum, yum, yum. Well below advertised used price. I won't even tell you how much because you would cry. And if I had more money, I would have bought it myself. The wind system, they were there. They tied into the internet, and they were offering demonstrations in Steve's small little motor coach, a little $1 million baby. I love it. And there were the great map and layouts. Now, this is what Dayton, Ohio does, and I believe Orlando, and that is they put in all over the place a list of talks, where they are, and a little map on how to get to them. And controlling the scene was the Civil Air Patrol. They were great in that they enlisted their cadets to take part in the HamFest at Yuma. And those cadets were well-dressed, standing tall, and you had to have a badge to get on the inside, and it was great. So we appreciate that. And let me tell you, caps and monogram more caps and you name it. It was a husband and wife embroidery team that really, they were going strong the whole time. We saw them at Quartzfest. This is what small HamFest will bring, and that's the type of personalized service that you get. Well, there's the family, the Ham Radio Outlet family. They were the only major dealer there, although we had about 6 other dealers. And Eric, second over from the right, is the new Pasadena Amateur Radio Club president. So congratulations. Well, as RVers, we're always concerned about our battery power. BioInno was there with Impulse that was helping them get their stuff out there and on demo. And let me tell you, those batteries really put out. There's the wind system. Now, for those of you that want a little fun with your handheld, go to windsystem.org, and Steve and Scott will be there. Well, they'll be behind some of the traffic there on the windsystem.org, and they'll show you exactly how easy it is to get on the air. You don't need anything other than a handheld on either V or UHF and the right frequency and the tone of 100, and you are on the wind system literally all over the world. But the big talk was about digital mobile radio. And they had DMR radios, they had hotspots, and thanks to beamspeed.net, all of the exhibitors were able to tie into that to get all of their machines working properly with the internet. This is Cecil, and Cecil works the PAPA system. He is the PAPA system, and for those of you that have ever heard the PAPA system on the air, at the small convention, Cecil was there with all the gear to demonstrate DMR, Fusion, D-Star, P25 capabilities. And that's neat when we have so many of the digital modes that we can now stay in touch with maybe just one little go spot. And as you can see, the computers were all over the place checking out what was happening on the different digital systems. The hotspots, this is micronode.com, and they were demonstrating their nano hotspot, and it was going strong. K7IZA, Mark, thanks for all these great demonstrations that you were doing. And you know, at these smaller HamFests, it gives you time to speak with those engineers that have developed the system, and it makes it fun. And the hotspots are everything. And that's Don Arnold, W6 GPS. Don, in memory of Coco, always with a smile. He's got his favorite little hotspot right with him. And Don, W6 GPS, a good friend of all ham radio operators, especially with his hotspots. And, of course, every HamFest sees Dave. Now, Dave's on the 75-meter band, not through a hotspot. He is live. And this gear works, and it's always fun to see some of the crowds that he will draw. Jim in 6JF was there with a loop, And the loop was playing well, and a little NE2 neon tube let him know that things were indeed coming up to resonance on his loop antenna. That was great. Thanks, Jim. Well, software-defined radios were really beginning to show up everywhere. Flex Radio, one of the major manufacturers that was there at this very small HamFest, well, 1,000 people, that's not too small. They were there with all of their gear, but not just in boxes. This is a manufacturer where they're like Icom America and Kenwood and Yaesu. The manufacturers show off the gear live, tuned in, so you can really see all the different items. There's Newsline. That's James and his pup. And James gets the award for working the most stations out at Quartzfest. Thanks, James, for all you do to spread the word on Newsline about all we do here on Ham Nation. And they had great facilities. They had projection equipment, so you just brought in your own laptop. The small ham radio group also had experts on hand just to make sure everything worked together. And certainly no stranger to making things all work together. That's Mike Collis, WA6SVT, showing all about the switch from the analog television over to digital television in the ham radio bands. And looks like they finally agreed on the DVB type of equipment. So, Mike, thanks for all you do. And he's a professional engineer for the broadcast industry. So it's nice to have those kind of folks with us. And joining him is Gary, W6KVC, and he's showing some of the new small equipment for going digital on amateur television. By the way, Gary was quick to point out, he says, hey, don't blame the Predators from Harbor Freight for making noise. The Hondas and the Predators, yes, Gary, were nice and quiet out at Quartzfest. So thank you, Gary, for making that correction. So anytime you see a Predator or a Honda, as long as we've got the ground tied in to them, they're going to be pretty quiet generators that won't tear up the HF bands at a HamFest. Dave and Tina, they helped me immensely with our instructor academy, and we had a full room. And we can't wait for those instructors to go out and help the ham radio service grow. That's Chuck and Sue. I always see them at the smaller ham fests, even the big ones as well. And they're taking part in what the Yuma HamFest was doing, and that was an antenna building contest, as you see in Chuck's hand. And Sue has that, it's either Australian or anyway, it comes from that neck of the woods, little ADF DF unit tied into her 3-element beam. And it was fun playing live tea hunting out there at the Yuma HamFest. Well, I was always asked to help figure out why things were going wrong in vehicles. Well, this one, look at that right-hand lower Anderson connector. What's missing? The ground, the black side. Well, actually, the radio did power up because it was using the ground to the vehicle's grounded antenna near the rear bumper, but huge voltage drop. So if you've got Andersons and an Anderson connection system like that, if your Andersons are loose, if you can wiggle your Andersons, you've got a problem that they're breaking off of the circuit board. This one will need major work, but no wiggly Andersons, please. Check them out. Also, make sure that if you have a white fiberglass 2-meter 440 antenna, it doesn't have, well, it's got a little crack in it. We took the antenna and poured off about 2 teacups full of water. No wonder it didn't work. Another ham says, I'm not getting a good ground on my hinge. Yet, if you take a look, he's got it well planted on the hinge. Well, you may find that if it's planted on the hinge, you're still going to need a good ground strap to make sure it's going to work as advertised. So don't just rely on the hinge itself as ground. And for HF, make sure that you don't use the plate, but rather dig those 4 Allen screws into the trunk lid. No one's going to know the difference, and then you'll have a great ground for a ham stick that will go up there. Another ham had a wonderful installation, an SGC $500 automatic antenna tuner. He ran coax on the output, that's on the left-hand side, and he was just not getting much out the other end. The reason is the output on the SGC 230 and the 235 is not 50 ohms. It's reactance, very high impedance. It wants to see the long wire beginning right there. Once we switched him out of the coax to single wire, kept away from anything grounded, he had a signal that just kicked butt. So that was great. And we saw a lot of this on our tour of the different vehicles, and that was coax cables going to an outside mount where they weren't sealed. So if you've got an outside mount and coax going to it with ring terminals, make sure that you use plenty of coax seal. Well, the biggie was on Saturday night. Look at this. For a small ham fest, there are hundreds of hams because the hundreds of hams were there for the grand prize drawing. Oh, no, not 1, not 2, not 5, not 10, not 15. Flex Radio, Icom 7610, Elecraft, Yaesu 3000, Kenwood 590, 991 from Yaesu, a 7300 from Icom, Yaesu 1200, Elecraft KX2. Yeah, you get the idea. They had thousands of dollars worth of prizes, and let me tell you, the folks are really eager to not only take part in the Buzzard Barbecue, but to take home some of these great prizes. So those are hams really getting ready. And yes, the Twit Network was well represented by Donald A6 Romeo. Victor, he had one of the original Twit T-shirts. I know Don is probably lusting at that T-shirt. He wouldn't tell us where it came from, but he was there at the studio one time. And by the way, thanks to Leo Laporte, you know, we were on national AM and FM radio stations all over the country. And Leo was talking about us 2 weeks ago about ham radio and ham radio there for any emergency and for anything. So Leo Laporte, thank you so much for mentioning ham radio on your other shows that you do. So that's my story. Little ham fest like the Yuma, Arizona Ham Fest can really be exciting. So if there's a little ham fest in your area, jump in. The volunteers would love to see you. In fact, volunteer and help out with your local, smaller ham fest. They're fun. I love them. Now let's check in with Icom America and George and see what Icom America has for us.
Communicating has never been more fun than with Icom. From D-Star to SDR, Icom uses the most advanced technology in their radios. The SDR you've asked for is here. Icom's new 7610 is a high-performance RMDR with the ability to pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The new Icom IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual digicell. Communicate with a new D-Star communications device. Easy to operate, the ID31A Plus is available in silver, red, or gold. Worldwide digital communication. Share pictures and text messages. IPX waterproof, compact, lightweight, and tough. The ID31A Plus is the new UHF handheld that you'll want. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great Icom radios. And you can tune in and enter to win after each episode of Ham Nation. Go to icomamerica.com/hamnation and register to win some great swag prizes like T-shirts and hats. While you're there, learn how you could win in the monthly grand prize drawing for a new radio. And for February, that new radio is the Icom ID51A Plus 2 VHF UHF D-Star Portable. It's got send and receive pictures, extended D-Star coverage, terminal mode, access point mode. You can send and receive text messaging with it. Set your transceiver's DR functions from the RSMS1A application or a map application. You can see the location of repeater sites or other DPRS stations on a map application. You can view and export received history of the transceiver. You can view detailed data in the transmitter's repeater list. You can import and export the repeater list and the call sign lists to and from the transceiver. And also, there's a free downloadable Android app. So go to icomamerica.com/hamnation after this and each episode of Ham Nation and register to win. Sign up, good luck, and don't forget to follow Icom America, Inc. on Facebook and Twitter. Bob, have you been back to the wood pile, maybe whittling on a little pine there?
Well, I was. I really was. I went to Hobby Lobby, where they have they call it, I think, the wood pile. It's really amazing. They have just hundreds of pieces of wood, because I'm rebuilding the pine board. And you're going, oh, my God, what's he doing now? Not really rebuilding the whole thing. However, I got some big news for you. Well, I think next week I'll be able to show it. But one of the viewers that have built it has it on 160 meters, George. Think about this. 160 meters, and it's working really good, 5 watts. There's a lot of people that would like to work 160. We've got all kinds of gear to take us on up the way, but their favorite transceiver doesn't work on 160, and I got to tell you, that's a fun band. And so MFJ's coil and the same capacitor, I was talking to Richard, the great mentor I have, W0BVT, that started all this with me a couple years ago. He's got one going too, so we're going to show you how to do that, and it's real simple. But we're going to do one other thing. I'm going to do a band switch. We're going to be able to switch it from 160 to 75 to 40, all this good stuff coming down the pike. A lot of you are having trouble finding this little part. And that little part happens to be the RFC 2.5 millihenry choke. Well, it's very easy to get. You just have to go to Mississippi. MFJ has it for you, and you're out of the woods. And when you order the coil, order that coil. Don't cut it off yet. Next week, we're going to show you what to do with the whole thing. Also, another viewer, and I'm really sorry, I'll have to get it for you next week. I left the paperwork he had sent. He has the coil instead of the big long coil from MFJ. He did it on I think it's just a T130, and it works great. Toroid coil, and he's having great luck with it. So those are some of the things coming down the pike. Just little modifications playing. You know, when you get to home brewing things, you never know what's going to come of it. So we'll get into that. I got a couple of other things here for you. First, I have 3 letters. 3 since I've last been with you. Been gone a few weeks. And they all cover the same thing. And I know I raise a lot of questions, but I also have a lot of answers. Well, one answer said, just a note for your thanks on your video on ground loops that I discovered on YouTube and Ham Nation. For the past year and a half, I have suffered horrific noise on 20, 40, 80. 40 and 80 has been so bad I haven't bothered to see what's going on. I couldn't hear a thing. He saw the video, and I said, all you need is one of these. And he did that, and he solved his problem. Now, you can't do it everywhere. You got to keep things grounded. But what you have to do is add that ground lift somewhere so that your system does not have ground loops. You have to break that ground somewhere. Now, don't go cutting the pins off. They don't like to do that. The electrical unions hate it when they do that. But you don't have to. You can go to Lowe's, and for 79 cents, you can buy what you need. Now, what's really cool about this is, notice up here, we have 2 different paths to ground. I don't know if you can see that, but one of those paths is green and one's red. And you'll notice they're different links. Let's start off at the transceiver and have a race. We want to get to the ground at the fuse box. the line from the transceiver down to the fuse box, which is green, is real short. But when you, through the coax and all of that, it's real long. You see that? Well, when you have two different paths, you have a terrific problem because you've got a ground loop and you solve it real easy. And what you do is insert that little ground lift somewhere. The easy place to do it is maybe your power supply and your transceiver. I mean, come on. This is too easy. And for all you doom and gloomers, I got news for you. You want to see all the letters I get? Oh, I just bring a few to you. There it is right there. Try it. You'll be amazed. You'll solve RFI problems. You'll solve hum and buzz and all that kind of good stuff. But, oh, man, the Vine board, if you haven't seen the QST, well, you need to go check it out. Or you can go to our website, highsound.com, and go down into the bottom of it, of that site. And we have a whole page of about, well, I think in that file, there's 50 or 60 different pictures and comments and stuff, and that'll help you. But at the Orlando HamFest, I was amazed. There literally were hundreds came to me and telling me about their great experiences. And it's really cool to see everybody building. But I want to get into some of it in the coming weeks about one particular situation of troubleshooting. We did a little bit of it. One of them that I have been helping, and a lot of guys and gals are writing me or help me, so I do as much as I can. It's kind of hard to troubleshoot things when you don't have it in front of you. So I try to help them. One of them was really cool. It came from there we go. It came from the good father, and he W4RAO. He just couldn't figure it out that he got the power supply all built, and when he measured the voltage, it wasn't right. And he sent me a picture. This is the corrected one. He sent me a picture of his setup and what that voltage was on the power supply. The first time it was about 700 volts. I couldn't figure it out, neither could he, until I said, wait a minute. And I looked real close. He had this scale on AC. We're measuring DC. He did that, bingo. The good father is happening. So those are things that we can help each other with. And he sent me this nice picture of himself, and he's a happy camper because he's got his pine board up and working from the power supply at least, and we'll get him on through the rest of it. So we're out there trying to help Virginia. I haven't been around. That's been my big problem. I've been gone the last few weeks, but we'll help Virginia with her little problem of hum. And I suspect it's a bad cap. I really do. And one of the others you asked me about, you want to use the preamp for a guitar amp. Well, guess what? I think I told you this, but you might have forgotten. This is a drawing I did in 1972. And what it is it's a diagram of our HGP, we call it. Heil Guitar Preamp. Look familiar? Uh-huh. Because that is the preamp that we're using in the pine board. Only I did a 2-band, not 3. And it works great. And so you plug your guitar into that thing and you'll be amazed. You just be amazed how good it sounds and works. Those are some of the things we're going to get into here in months to come, being able to build an audio amplifier for it and use it for all kinds of other things. That's why I did it in a modular form. But the next step is going to be band switching that final. It's real easy, real easy. You won't have to tear your rig up at all. We just have to use all the coil, and you don't even have to do the switch if you don't want to. But we'll show you how to do that. But I'm really thrilled. You guys are just going crazy. Of course, this guy, Ed, I think I showed this before, but it was a night when my internet was terrible. This is amazing. He built it in a 19-inch rack. George, this will look like something we could put in a radio station. Look at that. I'm so proud of what Ed did. I don't know if I told you, George, he was a busboy at the Holiday Inn back in 1965. And I introduced him to ham radio, and I don't think his wife has ever cleared me of that. But no, a great couple. And the other thing he did, this is cool. If you guys didn't see this before, talk about think. I love people that think. That chassis, it's only about 3 inches tall, so you can't go drilling holes in it. So what did he do? For his tube sockets, he put them on lids of jars, screw-on lids. I don't know if it's a pickle jar. I got to ask you about that. Anyway, he got a lid off of a jar, mounted the tube socket in it, and then standoffs on that. What an ingenious idea. And for a lot of you that don't know what a Dow key relay is, there is a Dow key relay. That is an antenna switching relay that all of us old characters, man, that was as common as your microphone cable. And it's hard to find them anymore. And when you do, you got to get out Mama's big checkbook. But we've got another little adaptation of the pine board relay, so we'll get into that. But I just wanted to cover a few things, and especially of the problem that Father Ortiz had. I was like, wait a minute, I just had the meter on the wrong place. And we all do that. I've done it myself. So just have to check things. So that's where we're going with all of this, and having more fun and whatever. I'll be down in my lab down at Pleasant Hope here in about another week and 2 or 3 days. I'll be there for a while, so I'll be back on the air and building more things, and so we're gonna have a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, we're gonna go down and talk to Don because he's got news. Let's see what's happening, Don.
I do, Bob. It's good to have you back on. We've missed you while you were gone. Why don't we go ahead and get into the news of the week from Amateur Radio Newsline. From Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2103, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. While the Bouvet Island 3 Yankee 0 Z trip is off, 3 Yankee 0 India appears to be on.
A team of Eastern European amateurs who had planned their activation in late 2017 has put the trip back on the calendar. Southgate Amateur Radio News reported that Dominic 3Z9DX, Stanislaw SQ8X, Lezek SP3DOI, Branko YU4DX and Franz J69DS have put their trip back on the agenda with what they describe as, quote, a matter of urgency, end quote. The team had cancelled its plans late last year at the request of the 3Y0Z DXpedition that had to be unexpectedly aborted earlier this month after reaching its destination. Although no dates for the trip have been made public, reports indicate that the radio licence has been renewed and the Norwegian Polar Institute has also issued a landing permit that's good through February of 2019. The team has indicated that they want the expedition to occur during the Southern Hemisphere's subantarctic summer. So if you're still looking to get Bouvet Island in your logbook, you may get that chance after all. Watch for updates on their webpage bouvetoya.org. In Polish, or a Google translated version is at tinyurl.com/Bouvet-3Y0I. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Robert Broomhead, VK3DN.
Prestigious Harvard University has a new president, and he's one of us.
Lawrence S. Backout, KA1FZQ of Brookline, Massachusetts, is taking office as the 29th president of Harvard University this summer. A graduate of MIT, Lawrence earned 3 additional degrees on the Harvard campus, and now he can add president to that list. Backout will take the reins of campus effective July 1st. Lawrence, who grew up in Pontiac, Michigan, is the son of a ham radio operator. The call signs W8JYZ and N4MB were used by his father, Mitchell, who died in 2007. There's another reason Lawrence should feel right at home on campus. Harvard University is home to amateur radio station W1AF. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Heather Emby, KB3TZD.
Jamboree on the Air's official report has been released.
Although the U.S. numbers were down as previously reported, the World Report on Jamboree on the Air and Jamboree on the Internet shows an increase of overall activity. Around 1.6 million people participated in the 2017 JOTA, including 1.4 million youth at 28,178 locations around the globe, representing 152 countries. This is an increase of around 200,000 more participants over 2016. The most activity for amateur radio was found on single sideband. Over on the Internet side, IRC Internet Relay Chat scored the top position. You can find the link to the full report on the jotajodi.info website. Every month we have a net on Echolink that amateurs and scouters participate in to share stories and learn about various activities going on around the U.S. All interested amateurs are invited to join the net monthly on the second Thursday of every month at 9 p.m. Central on the Star JOTA-365 Star conference node. For more information on radio scouting, please visit our website at www.k2bsa.net. For Amateur Radio Newsline and the K2BSA Amateur Radio Association, this is Bill Stearns, NE4RD.
For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online on a repeater near you or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Robert Broomhead, VK3DN, Heather Emby, KB3TZD, Bill Stearns, NE4RD, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. And we do not have a solar update per se from Dr. Sco via video, nor did she have time to send us any slides, but she did send me some notes, so I shall relay those from her to you forthwith. She says, all is quiet on the space weather front. The storm has finally subsided, so it's good news for many, but the solar flux has also tanked. Likely will stay in the worst conditions we've seen thus far in the cycle for another week, possibly two. We have a spotless sun. Boo, she says. But 2699, which is now rotated to the sun's backside, is the only game in town. And she says only Mars is enjoying decent ham radio conditions right now. Well, we're on the wrong planet, apparently. So anyway, thanks to Dr. Scove for sending me some notes on solar weather. If you don't follow her on Twitter, well, you really should. It's at Tamitha Scove, TAMITHASKOV, at Tamitha Scove on Twitter. So you should definitely follow her. Hey, Valerie has got Jerry back home, and we're going to talk with him right after I tell you about something that everyone needs. It's never any fun, I don't think, to go and get it. Well, it's fun to go out and buy a house if you're going to buy a new home, but it's the mortgage part that has always been just kind of, well, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans has changed all that because, frankly, the mortgage experience wasn't keeping up with the times. It was dated. It was confusing. It needed a client-focused technological revolution, and that is exactly why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. What Rocket Mortgage does is it gives you the confidence you need when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. It's simple. Rocket Mortgage allows you to fully understand all the details and be confident that you are getting the right mortgage for you, because knowledge and understanding is everything when it comes to mortgages. It's convenient. Their trusted partners allow you to share your financial information with the Rocket Mortgage right at the touch of a button. Powerful, whether you're looking to buy your first home or your 10th, Rocket Mortgage is able to perform thousands of calculations in seconds, and based on your income, assets, and credit, Rocket Mortgage can analyze all of the home loan options for which you qualify and find the one that is just right for you. It's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. To get started, just go to rocketmortgage.com/hamnation. That is rocketmortgage.com/hamnation. Rocket Mortgage is an equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030. And Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. Jerry is back from the ill-fated, sadly disappointing, long trip to the shore, just offshore of Bouvet Island, where they sat there in rough seas and 80-mile-an-hour winds, probably almost swimming distance, and then they had to turn around and come back. Wow. Well, Valerie has him, and I saw a Facebook post from Jerry when he was getting on the plane over in Germany. I think it was flying back, and I made a post on his Facebook post. I said $100 says he keeps the shades all the way down the whole flight, so he doesn't have to look at the water. Valerie, let's get that man of yours on the horn here. How's he doing? You taking good care of him? There he is.
I am, yeah. He's back. He's glad to be back. He just got back about 48 hours ago.
Wow.
And I'm glad we could get him on the air. And
I'm glad we could get him home.
What?
I'm glad we could get him home.
Yes.
I'm glad to be home.
Yes. I'm glad he's back too.
I'll bet you are. Looking good, Jerry.
Well,
Thanks, Don.
he brought some videos with him. A bunch of the guys sent us some videos. We kind of made a little compilation, and he's going to kind of narrate you through it if you want to roll that one, Victor.
And we put this together really quickly. This is a typical day sailing to Bouvet, 15-foot waves or so. And the vessel's 240 feet long, so we did get bounced around a lot. This is a video from the porthole in our cabin made by Jim N9TK. And
those are 25-foot waves,
these were probably 25-foot waves. And just wait a little bit here. Jim went flying across the cabin here real shortly and hit the door on the opposite end of the cabin.
This is where you're forced to stay in your cabin because it's not even safe to walk around. Wait for it. Here it comes.
And there's the portholes, getting a window washing there. So here's the inside of the ship during one of the storms. Note the flex radios on the floor there. Craig K9CT got out real quickly and got them on the floor before they were damaged. Okay, here's the first day off of Bouvet. You can see the waves are pretty high, windy, not safe to launch any helicopters, and
so close. Look how close.
We're so close. We were quite disappointed the first day. Here's the second day. The weather's getting worse. You can see the waves are higher. The weather forecasts are even worse yet. There's one low pressure system after the other stacked up across that area down there. And that night there was a problem down in the engine room, a flexible coupling in between the gearbox and one of the engines failed. And we had to move offshore or further yet to facilitate repairs. And when they were doing the repairs, the engines had to be shut down. The ship was kind of out of control for a while. We were bouncing around an awful lot, and it was quite a harrowing experience.
It looks pretty harrowing on that island. About
that time, the captain who is, the vessel who is totally in charge, canceled the DXpedition. We were very, very disappointed, and we're starting to make our way back to Chile, and then we're decided to head to South Africa. Here's our cabin, our luxurious cabin. And three of us lived, for 31 days in that small area. Here's some more cabins. Here's the, the area heading up to a meeting area. As you can see, we had some leakage there on the floor. That was yes, which was kind of a normal thing. Okay, we're pulling into Cape Town after 1,400 miles, heading north to Cape Town, and 14 days. Here's some guys from the South African Radio League who sailed out to meet us, and they kind of guided us into the harbor. And these guys were super. All the hams down there in ZS1 land
But they were a welcome sight, huh?
They were a welcome sight. Aren't hams around the world? Aren't they all great?
These friends.
We were invited to a luncheon at the local yacht club the next day. Here's our team. Here's some really important people. Ralph K0IR on the left. Victor 51 Japan Delta in the center there. He flew down from Namibia. And the guy on the right is Nico ZS6QL, who's president of the South African Radio League. He flew over from Johannesburg. So these guys were great. There was others there. About 40 Zulu Sierras and some of their wives, plus all of us, made about 75 people there at the luncheon. Okay, here's my travels. Chicago, Atlanta, Santiago, down to Punta Arenas, across the South Atlantic for, 2,400 miles or so?
14 days.
14 days. We circle around Bouvet, running our mechanical issues. The captain cancels the expedition, and we slowly, and I mean slowly, at about half speed, sail up towards Cape Town. And at Cape Town, we have for 24 hours, we have the short reception. We fly up to, or a few of us fly up to Amsterdam and then back to the States. So 2,400 miles.
24,000.
I'm sorry, 24,000 miles, 5,000 miles at sea, and to circle the globe is about the same distance. So it was quite an adventure for 41 days I was gone, and 31 days on the boat without getting off.
Now, is there anything you guys could have done to get on that island that your team leaders or you as a team could have done?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The team leaders did a great job. The team, we were gung-ho. We were ready to go. And I commend the team leaders for, keeping everything going. It just did not work out. We would have got on the island if it wouldn't have been for the mechanical issues of the ship.
And the bad weather.
And the bad weather. But I think the bad weather over time would have broke. Yeah. And we would have been able to, at least get a foothold on the island and start getting some of the equipment there. I mean, we were ready to go. We were gung-ho after 14 days. We wanted to get off that vessel.
I noticed when it got canceled, a lot of people really gave their well wishes and prayers for your safe return, and that was wonderful. And we want to thank the entire ham community for doing that.
We want to thank the ham community for that. And I want to stress again, it was the captain of the vessel that canceled the expedition. It was not any of us, nor our team leaders. Again, our leaders were great, and I commend them.
Days you guys will never get back. And how much money are we out, or you out, I should say?
Well, about I think approximately $26,000
per person.
And some of the guys even spent more. So it's heck, I could have put up a 3-element 80-meter Yagi for that.
Hey, and one thing I wanted to bring up too, anybody that was tracking those guys, Hal had one of these. I got one of these for Jerry for Christmas. And actually Red Cross had these when we were down in Puerto Rico. These are great. These are InReach Garmin's, and they use satellite, and you can text with it. You can put an app on your phone. So even if you don't have cell service or data, you can text your messages through your phone. It sends it out through the Garmin, through the satellite. Really nice. They run between $250, but they're really handy when you're
when that's all you got
in a time of emergency or when you're in the middle of nowhere. And this was really nice to have when he was texting me while he was away. And of course, you guys were tracking Hal when his were pinging every hour. Well, thanks again. I know. And 48 hours. He's still trying to.
I'm tired. I'm wore out. I want to thank Hal, Jim, and Jeff for the quick video.
Yeah.
This was thrown together really quickly. So I'm glad I was able to get home on Monday. We had a little bit of time to work on this.
And let's do a little bit of DX if you want to show that first slide, Victor. We've got some DX going on. Rwanda, 9 X-ray 0 Tango Alpha. He's back on the air. He got his license renewed. I don't know how long he's going to be there, but if you need Rwanda, he's on the air again. He's doing a little FT8 and trying to do some sideband. Next slide. Spratly Island's coming up. That's a big one. A lot of us need that one, including myself. I'm going to try and get Adrian on to interview about this Spratly Island coming up. So hopefully I'll get him on before they leave. But they're going to be there for 12 days. And if you want to show the next one, that's their hotel. It's the only hotel on the island. And they're going to Luang.
It's Laing Island.
Laing, which is also
from there in 2001.
That's Swallow Reef on the maps there, and it's kind of in a dangerous area because there's a lot of disputes going on who owns what there. So
there's like 7 countries that have claimed that region of the South China Sea.
It should be an interesting DXpedition and one of the more rarer DXpeditions coming up. As far as contests go, if you want to show the next one, Victor. We've got this weekend, big one, NAQP ready coming up. We're going to try and get on. He's still a little jet lagged. We got a lot to get ready to get for the contest. But CQ Worldwide Sideband on 160 is this weekend as well. Plus, there's the North Carolina and South Carolina QSO parties this weekend. And next weekend, ARRL DX Sideband, another big one. We'll for sure probably be on for that one.
We're going to try.
Yeah, we're going to really try for NAQP ready if you guys want to try and work us this weekend, and I will try and work you, and vice versa. And Ham Radio Hacks, last thing. I had George, Kilo Bravo 4, Oscar, Quebec uniform. He sent me this. Now, don't throw those jeans away when you get holes in them. Just cut them up, make little drawstring bags. He has a really good sewing machine, so he embroidered my call sign on it, but you could even just use fabric paint, put your call sign on it, make them whatever size you need, but he makes them, puts his HT in them. One he does for you can do tools and barrel connectors or whatever, tape, and take it with you to field day or something, and, it stays safe. He's got one he made bigger for his coax and things like that, so cute little ham radio hack. But that's all I've got for this week, so we're going to pass it to Bob.
Well, listen, thanks a lot for that. Great information, Jerry. And I know you probably want to go get some sleep. And the only thing I would have to say to you, if Sarah was here with us right now, Valerie, she would say that the money that went nowhere, and that's really sad, you could have bought a whole lot of shoes and purses. Did you ever think of that?
I don't do that.
Don't give her any ideas, Bob.
I spent money on kitchen remodeling while he was gone.
Yeah,
but,
I was just going to say, I think you got the kitchen all in place, but that's good.
Not quite, but almost, because he came home 2.5 weeks early, but we got it good enough for a reveal.
That's amazing,
That's right.
Bob.
Andy, give me a little insight down there when we were together. Well, you two are just a very special couple, and we're so happy and proud that you're here. We're doubly proud and happy you're home, Jerry. But you'll come up with something else, and it'll be just as spectacular, and hopefully the weather will be better. Now, you mentioned at the end what's going on, and that's the North and South Carolina QSO parties. Well, look who we have with us tonight. We have the chairman that's putting all that together. Let's see if Marty got on with this. Hi there, Marty. How are you?
Hello, Bob. I'm doing great, and it's great to be here on Ham Nation tonight and talk about North Carolina QSO Party. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, take a couple of minutes and tell everybody what we're talking about, where you are, and why. So it's all yours for a few. Go ahead.
Well, okay. Very good. Well, I love talking about the North Carolina QSO Party. First thing I want to say is that it's sponsored by the Raleigh Amateur Radio Society here in Raleigh, and Raleigh is the originator of the North Carolina QSO Party, started back in 1970. And I think you have a video clip, and you're going to show maybe in a little bit, and you'll see the winner of the first QSO Party, Bill K4CIA, back in 1970. Now, what a QSO Party is, it's an on-air operating event. And the focus is for everyone in the country, the continent, the world, to have QSOs with folks in North Carolina. And, of course, when it's South Carolina's turn, this was South Carolina as well. Now, we've combined with South Carolina, and a new thing started in 2016, and we call it the Carolina Weekend. So the South Carolina QSO Party is on Saturday, and the North Carolina QSO Party is on Sunday. This weekend coming up, the 24th and 25th. And what you do is you just exchange your location. Go ahead.
I'd say that's a very cool idea. I'm sure it's going to grow more guys and gals working. So that's great, Marty.
Yes, it really is. And what you do is you just call a station in North or South Carolina and give your location, and you have a chance to win fabulous prizes. I have one right here to show you. This is the prototype of the award for North Carolina here, and you can, if you make enough QSOs and you stay with it long enough, you can win a fabulous prize. One of the things too about a QSO party, Bob, though, is different than a contest. Really, is that every now and then you might actually hear a QSO break out. It's just it's a very laid back kind of thing, and it's just friendly, and folks in North and South Carolina are real friendly, and so we just enjoy talking to folks. So that's a little bit basically what's going on.
Well, let's run this little video. This will give you a firsthand of what's going on. So let her go, Vic.
Sierra 59 Orange. Hey, Roger. W4DW, W4MPS, 59 Johnston, Juliet Oscar Hotel. Okay, thanks a lot, and have a good time. Have fun, thank you. You bet. Whiskey 4 Delta Whiskey, North Carolina QSO. 4 Charlie, Indian Alpha. Indian Alpha, go ahead. NC4QB, Kilo 4 Charlie, India Alpha. Yes, Kilo 4 Charlie, India Alpha, thank you. And you're 59 out, man. QSL, you're 59 White.
That's really great. I appreciate being able to hear the QSOs. And that was a really cool video, whoever did that.
That was done by Mark W4MPS. He's our log analyst on our committee. And he's really into videos and everything. And he's the one that did that video. He's a great job putting that together.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you guys letting us know about it. And we'll try to get on and see what we can do. Anything else we need to know before we let you go?
Well, I just want to tell you about one thing. 146. 146 is the number. That's the number of counties that are going to be on the air this weekend for 21 hours. If you're a county hunter, it's a county hunter's dream. So for 21 hours, we're going to have 146 counties are going to be on the air. So come join us and join the fun.
That's really cool. Well, you kind of get a double bang. You get to work the QSO party and maybe turn out a couple of extra counties. So that's wonderful. That's right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we'll have to have you come back and tell us how it all worked out. George,
I'll do that, Bob. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming. George, you got some of those radios all set up to work this? You got enough radios to do that with, right?
Well, yeah, I thought I would work all bands simultaneously. The really nice radios. I have been enjoying playing with these this week. I just wish I could keep them, but, Ray wants them back, so I will be sending them to him because I think this one right here is actually his. But at least he was nice enough to leave them here and let me get to play with them a few days. And we should have a video ready soon on these. I've been editing, got the preliminary draft out there, but there's always some things that we left out and forgot about that need to be added. So I'm working on that now, but we'll let everyone know as soon as these are ready. But let me just say, I have thoroughly enjoyed playing with this one this week. The displays look slightly different on these here, but that's just the way that I've got them set up. You can make these all look virtually the same on the front panel display. Of course, the 7300 and the 7610 are both touchscreen radios. The 7600 is not touchscreen, but it's still a very nice radio. I run a 7700, and I've got to say, I still like it. I like it a lot. But this 7610 is kind of caught my attention this week. It is a really nice radio. There's some things I really like about it. So we'll talk about those in the future. But right now, I've got a video here. You know, Randy was at Quartzfest recently, and he had a good time there and talked with a lot of interesting people about ham radio and different things. And we've got one more video from Randy tonight. So let's look at that.
So good morning, it's Randy, and I'm here with my friend Bob, N2OML, November 2 Oscar Mike Lima, and he's been playing with FT8 for the first time.
First time ever. Went to a session here at yesterday late morning and came back and said, gee, I wonder if we could do this. So I downloaded the program and WSJ, start again. Download the WSJTX application for my Macintosh. Luckily, it's supported on multiple operating systems. And last evening, fired up on 40 meters, and over the course of a couple hours, made 34 contacts.
Wow!
And I didn't know what I was doing, but with some help from Randy and what I learned earlier in the day, we did well. So here we are. It's a little after 7 a.m. Local time, and we just got it fired back up. And right now, I've just decoded maybe 150 signals right now, sitting here in the campsite. 12-volt battery, my Mac, an FT450, and a Signal Link USB. This is a sweet mode.
And what's up out back here? You got
my Stepper IR crank. The crank set to 40 meters, and I'm very, very happy with it. It gets out very well. So a little later this morning, we'll move up to 20 meters. My goal here is to do 100 contacts while here at Quartzfest.
Okay. And then how many other stations have you talked to on voice?
On voice, sideband, Alaska a couple of times, Germany, and Italy on 40 meters, and that was a bit of a surprise. And I can call him a young man because I'm old now, in Sacramento, not a long contact, but he was very enthusiastic about ham radio and credited Gordo with his training. Randy at that point got up because Gordo was right behind us. Knocked on the window. Gordo come out and talked to him. I thought the kid was going to have a heart attack. It was great. I'm very pleased. This is a great mode. So, no, I was just looking. The bed is so full, I'm trying to find a place to transmit. I'm now sending CQ. There are hundreds and hundreds of stations on this morning. Nobody's answered yet. There are stations all over the place. EM74, EM28, EM40. Oh, there's a whole bunch more. Just CN85. And this is 40 meters. Now we're running about 50 watts right now. There's a JJ1BBY from PM95. Oop! I just answered. We're in a QSO. With a JJ1EJD. Grid square QM05. We'll know here in a second whether he decoded my answer. He did. I'm going to have to look up where JJ1EJD is. I'm a -24 signal to him. And I've now transmitted my signal level to him twice and a third time. Having some trouble making the trip.
More power.
More power. Well, we can try that. Run it up to 100 watts. He got it. Now comes the, I'm sending the RRR to him. Now going for a third time. Took 3 tries to get the signal strength through. Completed QSO.
Wow. What the station's call again?
JJ1EJD. JJ1EJD.
Japan.
So yeah.
Cool.
So stop that. Then you come over and take a close-up.
Well, thanks for that, Randy. It looks like Bob kind of took a fancy to FT8 there, from really never having operated it before to getting on the air there from Quartzfest. Randy said that Bob worked 37 states on FT8 from Quartzfest. And he also operated FT8 at the Yuma HamFest as W1AW/7. His stats for 2 days: 173 U.S. contacts, 15 from Japan, 8 from Canada, 2 from Alaska, 2 Cuba, 1 Russian, 1 Brazil, in all 202 QSOs. So nice work there, Bob. You're kind of encouraging me to try out FT8. I just haven't had time to get in it yet. I will, but hey, you guys are really knocking out some contacts with this new mode from Joe Taylor. So good deal there, and thanks for that, Randy. You know, I asked a question it wasn't last week. It was the last time I was here. Yeah, we looked at a BNC connector. You remember I showed you some real nice cable. As a matter of fact, I'm using some of that real nice cable to connect these radios together here. And I have the BNC connectors on it. But we showed, how you prepare the cable and use crimp-on BNC connectors. And everybody seemed to like BNC connectors. So I asked a question, what does BNC stand for? And we had a lot of people that knew. But the correct winner, or because we can only choose one, randomly drawn, was Brian Fenzel, KD0YHR. And Brian said that BNC stands for Bayonet Nil Consulman. And bayonet is, the way that you stab it on and twist it. And then I believe Nil and Councilman were 2 of the inventors of the connector. So congratulations, Brian. We're going to be sending you this MFJ 148RC. Great, I'll call it dual watch. It's 2 24-hour clocks in one. You can set it for 12 or 24 hours. It's radio controlled, so that means it automatically synchronizes itself with WWV. It's also got a built-in 10-minute ID timer, so everything you'd want in a clock for your ham shack there. Perfect for your desk. And for next week, there was something behind that clock here. It's a set of Howell ProSet 3s. Great stereo headphones. Great for listening to music with, and I've used it for that quite a bit. But also great for operating on the air with. And it's got a special feature just for that. Bob's added a phase reversal switch to one of the earpieces here, so you can flip the phase, and sometimes that'll help one signal pop out in a crowd. These are very comfortable, lightweight, and very durable too. They fold up real compact, so you can fit it in your travel bag. I carry these with me whenever I'm going somewhere that I know I'm going to need headphones. That they've made it to Dayton several times, and different trips around with me. So very nice set of headsets here, the Heil Pro Set 3. If you'd like to win that set, well, and by the way, these aren't mine. These are. You're not going to get these. You're going to get some brand new ones in a box because I'm not giving these up. If you'd like to win them, well, I've got a question for you. I have a photo here, if Victor will show it for us. This is a product from some time in the past that I want to know more about. I was unfamiliar with this product right here. If you think you know what that is, though, identify it for me. Tell me who the manufacturer was, maybe a part number, a little more information, some more details on it, whatever you can come up with to tell me what this speaker is right here. Send it to me, hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and you might be the lucky winner of this Heil Pro Set 3. And I'll just admit, I was not familiar with that speaker before. I did not know that it ever existed. So it's a good history lesson there, and we'll talk more about that next week. But now we need to get Amanda in here because we're running long, and I know she's got some questions.
Oh, you know I do. And first, I'd like to say welcome home, Jerry. I know Val's really happy you're home, and sorry you're going through so much there. I do have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Hi, Amanda. Fire away.
Okay, so this is just logistically thinking about all of the stuff you guys had, all of those shipping containers full of equipment. What happened to it all? How is it going to get back to the United States? Are you going to keep it where it is? What's going on with that stuff?
Okay, the vessel is in South Africa, Cape Town, in the docks there for repair, and the repairs, from what we understand, is going to take quite some time. Once the repairs are facilitated and they can safely sail back to Punta Arenas, which is quite a trip, then our containers and equipment will end up, and then they will be transferred to all the equipment is going to be transferred to the 40-foot container, and then it's going to come back to the States. So maybe we'll see it in 6 or 9 months, all that stuff. That's my guess.
Wow. Okay. The next question is, obviously, you guys being stuck on a boat for that long, how was the morale, and what did you guys do to kind of make sure no one got depressed or bummed out?
Really had a good time. I mean, we talked a lot. We had daily meetings, and because we had a lot of stuff to sort through, and we had to plan what equipment went to the island first. And I mean, the leaders did a great job. Bob and Ralph and Erling did a great job keeping our morale high. The food was pretty good. The cooks did a good job keeping us well fed. And the scopolamine patches, behind the ear to keep you from getting seasick, those things are great for putting you to sleep.
And you guys almost ran out of those, right?
Yeah, I was down to only 2 left. So, but we actually, got to know each other, even though most of us have traveled many times together. We still had a lot to talk about. And plus, we had the Maritime Mobile station. We made over 9,000 QSOs from various grid squares as we were traveling. We made a lot of contacts, mostly on CW and FT8.
Now, that actually is kind of the cooler thing, is that you gave a lot of grids out that nobody could get otherwise. So that's pretty nice. And I was going to say liquor. Liquor would help, but maybe not. It might make you sad. Let's see. So you guys You guys, you said you might plan on doing this again. What are the hopes for that? Or are you just going to let the other team go ahead and try it out?
We'll see what the Polish team does, okay? And we did not have much liquor on the ship. I think maybe we're friends on Facebook. Maybe you noticed the South African beer that I was drinking Saturday night. That was the first beer I had in 31 days, which, as most people know me pretty well, it's quite a long time for me.
I'm pretty sure that's why I would never go on a DXpedition. Lack of beer. No, thanks, Jerry, so much. We're so glad you're home, and we really appreciate it. And I know, again, Val's happy you're home, and the whole team.
I'm really glad to be home, and I'm glad to be here with Valerie again.
And when you said that $26,000, I actually I guess maybe I'm just weird. I guess I didn't think that's that much. For all of your travels and travel changes and stuff like that. That's not too bad. I mean, I think I would want to be on a beach somewhere for $26,000. Some nice service, but whatever. That's all I have. I know we're way over time tonight. So, Bob, I'm going to send it. Well, actually, let me announce nets first. Excuse me. We have 14 Charlie on the D-Star net. We have DMR on TAC 311. We have 7192 for 40 meters HF. And also we have 3908. Steve's running the 75-meter net tonight, you guys. So try to get on there and make some contacts and tell our net controls what a great job they do. With that, I'll send it over to you, Bob.
Okay, very good. Yep, we're very long, and sorry for all of that, but we had some really good stuff. And where else are you going to hear news like what Jerry brought you firsthand? So, no, we're delighted to be able to bring you all this good stuff here on the Twit Network. And thanks so much to Victor and Leo and everybody that helps put all this together. And, of course, our sponsors. That's very important. We will see you back here next week. And who knows what's going to happen, but it'll all be good stuff. You know that. So bye-bye for now. We'll see you on the air, and have fun. This is K9EID. Bye-bye for now.